Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Wargaming. I'm your host Dom Mado, and I've got a very special guest today. He is a tabletop legend, a YouTube star, and it's Pardo from SM Battle Reports. Hi Pardo.
Hello, guys, and hello, Dom.
Hi, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, well, so I've been a big fan of your channel for a long time, and when I kind of got back into the hobby, I was really into your channel and then the likes of Mini Wargaming as well. That just simply for the sheer quality of your battle reports. And I just got to say, well, thank you for making so many great videos. Sitting at my painting desk, I've put a lot of hours into your channel.
That's very nice to hear. Obviously, with so much work behind the scenes, it's always nice to hear that people are enjoying the content. So thank you very much.
For those of you that don't know, so Pardo's channel is I would say that one of the top tier 40k content out there, and it's simply battle reports. You just started doing the Horus Heresy as well, and if you want to see like Golden Demon style painted armies on a tabletop or with the table to match for quality, this is the channel for you. And honestly, the painting standard is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very, very good.
it's absolutely amazing. Do you do painting yourself?
No, I haven't painted in a very long time. So obviously, we'll probably talk about it later on a bit. But obviously, none of us are full time in on the channel itself. So I personally am the only one editing at the moment, so I haven't got time to do a lot of the stuff. So some of us do paint our own armies, but most of them are commission painted. These last few years they've mostly been commission painted, just because of time more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes total sense. And the people you use, the models are absolutely stunning. And so you're a 40k channel, and these last couple of years, and especially we're kind of on the home stretch of ninth edition now. It's been a roller coaster, hasn't it, with all the books coming out. From the last 2 years, what has been your kind of favorite couple of books that have come out to play with?
So I think like going back like what 3 years now? Eighth edition was it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes quick. Yeah. The problem is we've got COVID in between, which is
I
just
know.
like a blank canvas of nothing. So I think like eighth edition was fantastic. I think eighth edition was one of the holy grails of 40k in the last like 10 years. Brought a lot of people back. A lot of people enjoyed the whole revamp of the rules, and it was the glory days here. We say, right? We had full club nights of 40k. We had people coming over back into the club that we hadn't seen in 10, 15 years. So I really enjoyed the 8th edition. And obviously, I'm a really big Space Marine fan. So
Yeah.
obviously, having 8th edition Space Marines was very enjoyable. They were very, very overpowered, but obviously, I was having fun with them if with the right people, right? Obviously, you
Yeah.
didn't want to go onto the tabletop and smash people, but it was very, very cool to actually see. I also have a big Crimson Fist army, so they specifically had Crimson Fist rules, which was very cool to actually see as well.
Mm.
So yeah, I think I've really enjoyed 8th edition. Maybe haven't enjoyed 9th edition as much as I wanted to enjoy it,
Yeah.
but we're on the final stretch of that, so hopefully we will be talking about 10th edition very, very soon.
I hope so. It kind of feels with I'm a big competitive player. I love going to tournaments all the time as much as I can. And for me, when they changed the rules with Arks of Omen, knowing that probably 10th edition's coming in the summer, I was a bit like, okay, so this is kind of the end. This is what it was like at the end of 7th edition.
Yeah,
You could have an invisible demon army and you could summon 3,000 points. And they didn't correct it because they knew new rules were coming out.
yeah.
I kind of feel like this Arks of Omen is just like them saying, "Go on, have some fun. Here's this crazy detachment.
Yeah.
Let's just see what's broken, and then we'll fix it for 10th."
Yeah, they've basically done that. They've said like, look, this is the last stretch. Let's allow people do whatever they want. Have some fun for the last 4 or 5 months, if the rumors are true, and see what happens. And look, everybody knows it's coming. It's probably coming sooner rather than later. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I'm also looking forward to changing from 9th edition to 10th, because I think I burnt out a bit at the end of 9th edition. I think like there was far too much rules, far too much changes, constant changes, which I personally, I'm in the studio, I'm playing 40k 2 times, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
You're a competitive player, so you can stay up to date. But for the normal player, it was quite difficult to stay on track on 9th edition, just because there was far too many things coming out. Codexes, FAQs, erratas, constant changes, and I think that burnt out a lot of people.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think there's way too many rules, and it doesn't really it's not that fun to like pick up a new army, because like I like creating, like making new armies. I buy and sell my armies all the time. And my friend who's sponsoring the channel, he's got maybe 6 3D printers, and if I need to, I can click my fingers and I'll have a new army. But I can't learn the new army because if you look at the guard codex, there's so much in that codex.
There is.
But thankfully, in the new World Eaters Codex, I feel like it's a glimpse into the future, because
Yeah.
there's like 6 stratagems, a few warlord traits, there's 2 ways of playing the army, and then that's it.
Yeah.
It feels good.
That's exactly what we need. Like you say, it got cluttered. It got a bit too much. I think a lot of people have stepped back in playing just because there was a bit too much. And I think the beginning of 8th, there was so much complexity of it being easy and quick to get the hang of it. And then 9th edition, there was just so much bloat in it that, yeah. And like you said, World Eaters Codex, I think it's a glimpse of the future. Hopefully it is. I'm a really big fan of there not being stratagems at all, or toning it down a lot. I don't know if you've seen some of our event rules packs.
Yeah.
We are just allowing a maximum of 5 stratagems, which you have to incorporate in your lists as well, before one of our events. So I'm all for less stratagems, which I'm happy to see in the World Eaters Codex.
Yeah, I totally agree, because like I've been playing Eldar a few times, and I'm going to the IT International Team Tournament in, I think it's like not this weekend, the weekend after, and I'm playing Harlequins. There's so many stratagems in that Harlequins book, and if you don't know what Harlequins do, they're going to take you by surprise. And there's a lot of gotchas that can happen.
That's the problem.
I don't do it because I'm a nice guy, and I'm not
Yeah.
that sort of guy who goes, oh well, you've done this, I'll do this now.
Yeah, but that spoils it a bit, right? Because there
Yeah.
should be gotcha moments, but there's far too many of them. Like, just there's one of our team members, Big Will. He plays Tau. He's a very good Tau player, and I've been playing him for like one. I've been playing his Tau every couple of weeks, and for at least a year, and he still plays stratagems where I still haven't seen before. I'm like, where has that come from? So yeah, a bit too much. I've always been the person that thinks that the main rule book should have maybe 14, 15 stratagems, and then the codexes have 5 to 6. It's easier to keep track of. Everybody knows more. But the end of 9th, there was like, what, 20, 25 stratagems in one single codex, which is far too much.
Yeah. It is. So if I was rightly to say, I feel like every army would take advantage if there was a heroic intervene strat, the Overwatch strat, maybe the redeploy strat. I think everyone deserves, because being like playing Jakari, like me and Paulie always talk about this. Like, there's one redeploy, but you have to play an obsession you don't want to play because it sucks. It's all about poison weapons, but all the poison weapons are rubbish.
Yeah.
And so I think those 3 are good, and then probably like 3d6 charge, and maybe
similar stratagems that everybody has more or less the same. Then make a couple like proper to the Legion or to the army itself. But yeah, I think the bloat was stratagems was burning everybody out a bit, just because there was far too many to keep track of.
Yeah. So with that in mind, what's been like kind of within ninth edition, what has been your favorite army to play, because maybe it's not as complex?
So I think Space Marines are quite streamlined. Like I stated, I'm a really big Space Marine fan. If I have to go to events, I'll take Space Marines. My personal armies, not including the studio ones, are all Space Marine armies as well. So I enjoy it. I think they're one of the most basic as well. The new changes have really put them back onto the battlefield. I think
Yeah.
one of the biggest problems playing Space Marines is that they were very slow. There was nothing that was fast enough to keep moving up the field and scoring. So having this simple rule like stick your objectives now makes the army move up the field and still play the game, which is great. And obviously lowering the points is something that was really needed comparing to other armies. So if I had to choose, it would be Space Marines all the way.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because they're kind of like they are the poster boys. They're not kind of like the poster boys. They definitely are. But they are easy to get into. It's simply like tanks, big dreadnoughts, shooting, combat, and you know what everything does because it looks like it. When you look at say elves, you have no idea what they do because it's got a big spear. Nope, they throw those. So it's very good how they've kind of made the army feel like it should.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I've always thought though with Space Marines that they've got bolt guns wrong. I feel like bolt guns, like because they're explosive ammo, I would like right now they're strength 4, rapid fire, 0 OP, 1 damage. I feel like they should have something like shuriken because they are like maybe on 6s you're 2 damage or on 6s you do a mortal or something like that, and then you'd see like Imperial Fist be nuts.
They definitely need to sort out the bolt. I think it's a very iconic gun. It's the one that obviously as soon as you think of Warhammer, you think of the bolt gun, and everything has surpassed the bolt gun. Like every normal weapon in every single army is now better than the bolt gun. And if you read novels and read a lot of the background and fluff and are into book, you always hear in these novels and books and stories how good the bolter is, and then you're firing them in proper game, and you're like, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I totally get that. It doesn't seem right. But like I get it, like they're saying, oh, but these are all the elite units of the Space Marines. But then why wouldn't you make the bolt gun a bit more usable? Because in Space Marine lore, you're not gonna see like 3 Redemptor dreadnoughts, 2 contemptors, and then Van Vets as your army. You're just gonna see like a few Marines with
Exactly.
bolts.
Yes, exactly.
That's the one. So, obviously you've got your channel, and you when the new book comes out, you try and get it on and play test them as much as you can. What's been your least favorite, and you found the most confusing?
Well, first of all, I think when the Adeptus Mechanicum new book came out was it last year or the year before, that was completely broken. The mechanic of that book was just silly. Like so many rules on top of rules on top of rules.
Yeah.
It just made us not even want to play. I remember seeing Winter's SEO having a rant on YouTube about him not having a first battle report preview just because he opened the book up and it gave him a headache, and it was actually true, and a lot of the last couple of codexes that have come out, I've felt that a bit in it. Like I think they overcomplicated a couple of things. Like Knights, for example, Imperial Knights was a very easy to play army. They incorporated extra rules on them, which made them obviously a bit more difficult to play. Thinking about a newbie, right? So I think it was the Adeptus Mechanicus. If I would answer your question, I think that was one of the books that really made me say I don't want to play that army, just because there were so many things, auras all around. This gives this. If you don't have this doesn't get that, and it was like far too much for me.
Yeah, I totally get you because every time I played against it, after maybe playing about 6 or 7 goes against it, I finally understood what happens.
Yeah.
And it's just too much going on because then they've got all of these things they can pass around, like he's going to fail his leadership. Nope, he's got a data tether. He can't fail his leadership because he's got this. Oh, now you fight last over there because my warlord trait is over there now.
Exactly.
Like what?
Exactly. It was a headache to play against them and play with them as well, both ways.
Yeah. I've recently been getting into demons because I've always been a chaos lover, and when the Demons book came out, I was like fully into my Emperor's Children and Creations of Bile and all the meta picks, and I was really into them. And then I kind of missed the boat on Demons, and then when kind of the flamers got nerfed and some point shots happened, I kind of re-looked at them, and I was just like, okay, let's see how the mechanic of this works. And I actually think they hit the nail on the head with that book, because the way they manifest in off like key units that are like named characters which have these keywords which allow you to summon a demon of their like corn or anything like that of their god. I think that's amazing. Like, because it's not like they're deep striking like 9 inches away because they're trying to be safe so they don't fall on the unit. The demons, they're just coming out of the warp. They're coming out of nowhere. Just
Exactly.
here
Yeah,
I am.
it's a
I'm a
very good book
demon.
as well. I have to agree with you. I think it's a very good book. Written codex. I think it's a very well written codex. I think it plays really well on the battlefield. You can still place some really competitive lists,
Yeah.
and it's very enjoyable army as well to play. So I think it's a big thumbs up from me as well.
Yeah, and the best part about it as well is that it's unlike Thousand Suns, where you got Magnus, and he's not really there on every single list.
Yeah,
With Demons, you can run your big stuff, you can run your Bellicoids, you can run your Bloodthirsters and
yeah,
everything like that, and you go out and clean ones, and they're all amazing.
yeah.
And I think they've done a really, really, really good job with that book, and I hope when they eventually start to release books as well, because I think what the before it was Guard, before World Eaters, and then it was Demons. Was that right? Have I
Yeah.
missed one?
Demons in before Astra Militarum. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think they made they did well because Astronaut Time's got way too many stratagems and all that sort of stuff. But
yeah.
if you took the stratagems away, it's a very well mechanicked book, and the secondaries work very thematically. Like,
Mhm.
you want to be around your orders, you want to be doing your boots on the ground and all this sort of stuff. So it makes total sense. So I think the last 3 books have been absolutely incredible, and I hope for when 10th comes and whatever books come out then, that they will actually be like the same sort of caliber, because I think they've done a really good job.
Yeah.
So speaking about really good caliber of jobs, your channel does tournaments, and it does
Yes.
many tournaments, but they are known throughout the 40k competitive community and people on YouTube as some of the highest quality events to attend to in the world. And I would like to talk to you about that now. So they are called No Retreat, aren't they?
Yeah, so we basically run 2 events. One of them is basically our No Retreat franchise, and then we've got the Gibraltar Grand Tournament, obviously, which is a 100-player GT event, which is the more competitive side. Yeah, the No Retreat is the different one. Is very unique, very exclusive. It's application based, so people from all over the world apply to come. It's a very small event. It's just 26 players, and obviously we try and fit every faction in, or try and have every faction at the event itself. And obviously we try and bring people from all over the world to this iconic event and enjoy it. It's more like a hobby weekend. We always try to
Yeah.
incorporate that in than an event itself. We organize tours, we organize barbecues, we have big painting tutorials with some of the best sculptors and painters coming around, offering courses for them as well. It's also in a very nice location. It's actually held in a 5-star floating yacht hotel. So it's like a big
Wow.
boat. So yeah, it's a very unique experience and unique event.
Oh, that's great. Because I mentioned before, but Paulie is the Sky Serpent on Instagram, and he frequents your tournaments quite a lot. I think we were discussing earlier that he's been 4 times to
I
your
think it's 4, maybe even 5 times, maybe even 5 times. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Well, so for the people that don't know the application process, what are they kind of like? How do they go about to do it, and how can they get a shot at getting this Willy Wonka golden ticket?
So yeah, application based, applications open maybe 7 to 8 months before the event, and obviously the team and myself deliberates about who we're going to pick for the event itself. We always try to cater for as many factions as possible, as many countries as possible. I think we've had like something ridiculous, like 20 different countries represented. You know, you've got people coming over. Yeah, I think you've got people coming over from Australia, Canada. We had someone come over all the way from Malaysia a couple of weeks ago in one of our events. It's something very surreal. We never get used to this. It's like people fly for 2 days to get to our events. Obviously, we're very proud of it, very humbled as well. But it's something that we never get used to. So applications open. We normally look for a bit of a background about the player. We try and bring people that are really into the hobby, more than coming to win the event. You know, have nicely painted armies, have a lot of I don't know, background about loving the hobby itself, and yeah, you get a glimpse of who you're actually bringing, and we try and make it a good group, and we actually have had a lot of success with it, so it's good.
Oh, great. So, with the armies, you said it's not really like a power gamer sort of event. What restrictions do you have with list building?
So I think we can talk about the latest rules pack that we took out for No Retreat. So it's a 1750 point event, which is very rare to see these days. It's mostly always 2000 points. We think at 1750 makes lists a bit more difficult to actually build. There's always a bit more of scratch in your head to actually get to 1750. Games are slightly quicker as well, which helps the overall event as well. And we also have a couple of things which we've already touched based upon. 5 stratagems have to be built into your army lists. Obviously, these are not pre-game, so obviously relics and warlord traits are not part of this. And it's good because what happens with this is that there's no element of surprise anymore. You walk up to your opponent, you explain your army, and you actually explain what stratagem you actually will be using. So before the game starts, you actually have a glimpse of what the army does, and there's no element of surprise anymore. There shouldn't be any element of surprise, which is great. Apart from that, we also have the rule of 2 instead of the rule of 3,
Oh, really?
which is something that we've been playtesting for the last 6 months. We are really enjoying it. Again, you see more units on the table, units that you don't see a lot. There's not spamming of broken units, which happens every time they make units cheaper or give them some buffs. So apart from that, there's also no souping at all. I know Arks of Omen have now opened that up again. We've always been very strict in no souping at all. Throughout our no retreat events, the closest we've been to allowing people to soup is to take one night, Chaos Knight or Imperial Knights with an Imperial Force or a Chaos Force. We've actually scrapped that as well, so it's pure codex, and that's about it. That's it.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds good, to be fair, because like it makes like the points definitely make it difficult because you can't get all your combos in there. Like maybe you have to drop someone like a captain, so you're not really getting as many auras now, or maybe an apothecary, so you feel no pains. And then the no souping's great. I think that's a great role. I don't really agree with souping anyway. I mean, I don't know if you can call Drakari souping because it's all kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, obviously Drakari is slightly different. We allow the different. Yeah, Drakari is the only one that has an exception to the souping itself. Yeah.
Yeah, but because I still get flashbacks from when 8th edition and 7th edition was happening, and the chaos soup was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was just not a fun time. But but yeah, no, I think it's really cool to kind of like customize your own rules and stuff like this because it makes for an interesting event. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to go over to Gibraltar and just play in a tournament.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to have to design my list, have to make sure it's painted perfectly. I have to do all this, that, and you can really get your hobby into it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all the armies that are there are fantastic, but I also think the army composition is a big thing as well, like with going there. Is there like prizes and everything for people that are going to the no retreats?
Yeah, so we always have obviously our channel sponsors giving us vouchers from Element Games. We've got Siege Studios always giving some prizes as well. Apart from that, we have the overall winner gets a free ticket for the next event, which is a £195 ticket. The Sunborn itself, the hotel, gives a free night stay as well for the winner. And then we've got a lot of painting prizes as well. So we've got Andy Wardle and Richard Gray normally virtually judging the painting for that, where again there's more prizes to be won there. We also have Anfarius. Have you heard of Anfarius on Instagram? He's a very well-known sculptor that always comes over, judges for us, and gives some courses to the players itself before the event starts. There's a lot happening. There's a lot happening, yeah.
It sounds like a fantastic event, to be fair. And like over the years, I've definitely seen photographs of all the painters I follow on Instagram, and the venue itself is ridiculously nice. Like it's like a white, it's like white with like glowing neon lights at the top. We got all these beautiful thematic tables where the terrain is about 4 foot high in the air, and like it's really cool. It's a really cool event. So how about your other events? So you mentioned you do the Gibraltar tournament.
Yeah. So that's obviously the complete opposite. It's a more competitive event, obviously, not a cutthroat event, but obviously people come to win. It's good ITC points because it's an ITC event, obviously 100 players as well. I think like Gibraltar sells itself. Obviously, they name it Britain in the Sun. So obviously we are British here. We're a little island here, connected to Spain. It's mostly always sunny, very nice weather. We've got the beaches, so most people make it a short holiday when they come over. They come over, bring family members. There's a lot to do here as well. And again, it's an 100-player event, 40k event, similar rules as well. We've actually incorporated the stratagems in the battle lists. 1750 as well for the next one, and we've actually now got the World Championship tickets for the winner as well. So
wow,
yeah,
that's awesome. I have to think about going. It's awesome. I actually like the idea of these slightly smaller points because it kind of challenges, because after going to event after event, you start getting used to like your army that you've just you're either a pro with, or you're just kind of picking it up. You kind of get into a groove, and it's good to shake it up because like we said before, like 7050 really does kind of like make you think what you actually need to actually be able to win so many games at an event. Is it a 6-round event or 3?
It's a 6-round event. It's two games on Friday. We are not fans of 3 games in one day. We think it's a bit too much. Obviously, apart from the veterans that are used to it, there's a lot of people that get tired, obviously back pain and all that. But so we've actually it's a 3-day event, 2 games each day, one in the morning, one after lunch, and like I said, it's a 6-day event, 6-game event from Friday to Sunday.
Oh, fantastic! And you're doing this for 40k only?
The GT for 40k only, yeah.
And then your Horus Heresy event
has the no retreat in the 40k.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. And will you be live streaming these events at all?
So we used to live stream games. I think we actually spoke a bit before going online here. What we've been doing lately is we have actually done a live stream of us walking around each of the tables. So we give you a bit of a look of the games being done, the atmosphere across the hall, and the games itself. Obviously, people on the chat can actually let us know to go to certain tables. We'll walk up to certain tables, especially the higher tables at the top, ask questions to the players that how the game is going. So we always like to look for newer stuff, things that are different, and trying new stuff all the time. Events, same for events. We always try to be different, and it's something that we've been doing for a number of years now.
Yeah, I got to say, one of my favorite events you've ever thrown has been the No Retreat Legends event, which was a charity event. And can you remind me, what was the charity that it was for?
So we actually did it for 2. We did it for Walking Together Gibraltar and GibSam. So 2 local charities. One of them is a preventing suicidal awareness, obviously, and then there's another one for the families of debris that have lost family members and loved ones from suicide as well. So we actually did it for them too. For our first one, we actually raised an amazing £13,500
Whoa.
in one weekend. Obviously, massive thanks to everybody that watched, and obviously all the channels that came over to support the event. We had people like Tabletop Titans come over all the way from the USA. We had people from all across Europe come over as well, different channels from France, from Spain, and we all worked together as a team. And yeah, it was a fantastic event.
I gotta say it's so commendable to like throw an event, but also it's remarkable that you have managed to like have such loyal fans, that and the community just shows you how generous everyone is, especially when you're putting in so much hard work, and it's not for, you know, money in your pocket, it's for charities and to help people. And I think that is fantastic what you did there. I really do. And I thought the event itself was great, because there was a real buzz around it, because there were, I think it was live streamed on your channel, if I
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but also there was also on social media for the weeks coming up. It was like this big thing where it'd be like, this player is turning up and why, and then there was the matchups, what's going to happen, and it
Yeah,
was all
exactly.
drawn live, and it was the, ooh, that person's playing this, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a big hype, and we tried to hype it up as much as possible. Obviously, we didn't have the best of streams, just because the boat's internet connection wasn't the best, so we were really struggling with that. But look, people understood that it was a charity thing, and the most important thing was to raise money and awareness for both the charities. And yeah, it was also a bit surreal. We had people that we had not spoken to before. We had just seen them on their YouTube channels. We had Lawrence from Tabletop Tactics have a game against Winters. We had Stephen Box fights Adrian from Tabletop Titans, which, yeah, it was a crazy weekend, but very tiring, but well worth it in the end.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic, and none of us. I didn't think. Well, I didn't. I didn't for one. I didn't see Winters being the winner.
That was crazy.
It was mental. He just had a list which was just goes, I can't die. Here I
Yeah.
go, and that
Yes.
was it. That was it.
Yeah, that was the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, wasn't it? Winters winning it was actually very, very funny and very, very cool. He played Dark Angels,
Yeah.
two big units of Deathwing, two big units of Blade Guard veterans as well, and basically moved on to objectives and hoped to roll as many 2-ups as possible and the vulnerable saves as possible. And he actually won it. He actually played the final against Adrian from Tabletop Titans
Oh, with his
and his
orcs.
orcs.
Yeah.
And yeah, Winters was totally smashed. He had been drinking all day. So yeah, it was a very, very good experience.
Yeah, I still laugh about that, because I did actually watch all the games on the stream, and I was there. Just my missus got into it as well. We were sitting there painting, and it was just a great weekend. And it
Good.
was on social media as well. It was very funny following Winters and his escapades over the weekend. Oh, it was very good, because with those sorts of events, you think like, who are the more known competitive players? You're thinking of Box, you're thinking of Lawrence, you're thinking maybe Adrian. And
Yeah.
then Winters comes out of nowhere with his black cap and seals the
Exactly. Yeah.
deal.
And obviously we were very humble, because obviously we spoke to all these YouTube channels, many of them which we hadn't spoken to, hadn't contacted them before, and obviously nothing was paid for. It was all out of their pocket to actually come all the way from where they were, from Canada, America, all the way to Gibraltar for a charity event. Obviously, we tried to make the most of it for them. We organized tours for them, so they got to see a bit of the Rock of Gibraltar. Bus tours, went into the caves, see the apes, and we tried to organize barbecue, so make it a really good event for all those that travel from so far away. But obviously, we're very thankful of all these people that traveled from so far away to actually be at the event.
I think it's incredible. And do you reckon you'll do it again?
Yeah, we wanted to do it every biannually, so every 2 years, because obviously again, it's a lot of stress and efforts. Like the team had to pay a lot of stuff. We paid for the event rental, and it was a couple of grand down from SN before we actually started the event. So obviously, it's not something that we can obviously always do, especially as when you're like 2 grand down before an event and it's for a charity event. At the back of my head, I'm like, I could have given that money to the charity.
Yeah.
So we do need to sit down and rethink how we can actually do it as a cheaper way, and obviously talk to sponsors and other people that can actually help us out. So we'll probably do it next year. We thought we would be able to do it this year, but things have come up. I'm going to be a dad at the beginning of summer as well. So obviously,
fantastic.
yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. So obviously that's in the back of my head, and I don't want to say yes to too many things this year. So it'll probably be next year, bigger, better, invite more people over, and hopefully raise a considerable amount of money again for a specific charity.
Yeah, I think it's great, and especially talking about your events and knowing what your events are like. I can't wait to kind of to see it, and I hope you live stream it, because
well, for sure. And sorry, Dom, we've got some other ideas. We're actually thinking of opening tickets up to people to come and see the event as well. So have little stands beside certain tables where people can obviously come over, meet their specific YouTube channel attendees as well. And at the end of the time, there's extra money coming in for the charity for people coming to actually witness those games live.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, I don't know why no one's done that before, because I think that would sell out, like,
yeah, for sure. And it's
almost instantly as well.
Yeah.
People always want to meet the heroes. They always want to meet people like people they've never met before, especially after lockdown and everything like that.
Exactly.
Where you've been seeing all these people on the YouTube channels and all this sort of stuff. And I think that's
we
a idea.
We're thinking about doing like meet and greets and stuff there for each of the channels as well. So I think it'll something that obviously more money will come in for the charities, and people will experience it not only through live stream, but obviously hear themselves.
Yeah, I think it's great, but I also find the concept absolutely hilarious that Warhammer people are now celebrities.
Yeah,
I think it's remarkable.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So speaking of being a celebrity yourself, and so how did it all start? Where did it like kind of come from?
So we actually had to go back on our first couple of bar reports to actually see how long ago we started, and we're actually on our 9th year as SN.
Wow.
For those of you who are veterans of SN, like we say, people that have followed us from the very, very start, we never started doing video bar reports till about 4 years ago. We mostly did classic style battle reports, which is picture-based battle reports. That's how SN started. We actually only did that and our no retreat events for about 5 or 6 years, and then slowly introduced obviously video battle reports the last couple of years. I think it's been 4 years now of YouTube, where we started YouTube, which is great. Like in the last 4 years, we're now on 30,000 viewers, subscribers, which is
That's amazing. Yeah,
really, really good. And it's been a really interesting experience to actually go into video bar reports. So yeah, we've been 9 years. We're going on to our 10th year, and it's been surreal. I started with my friend Nick. This is why the channel's called SN. My first name is Stephen, and my friend's name is Nick, so SN.
I've never made that connection.
Yeah, so people that started. Obviously, a lot of people think that my first name is Pardo, but no, it's actually my surname. But I'm so used to it. Everybody calls me Pardo, my friends, my family members. So I'm really used to it already. And yeah, we started just we've always been into really nicely painted armies. We had really nicely painted terrain as well, and we actually photographed a battle report, which is classic style, and actually told Nick, I'm gonna post it on YouTube, on Facebook. See what happens. Let's open a page up, call it SM Bar Reports, and do a bar report using photos, obviously, like classic White Dwarf, right?
Yes.
Which at that point they had stopped doing bar reports on the White Dwarf, and this is why it was a bit of an incentive to actually start doing it ourselves. And we posted our first battle reports, which I remember clearly. It was Corn Demons versus Space Marines, Raptors. I don't know if
Great.
you know what Raptors are. Badab War, Raven Guard successor. And yeah, in the between a couple of hours, days, it exploded. Like, we started getting hundreds of follows on Facebook. It was a bit surreal to actually seeing how much people were enjoying them. And now, 9 years later, we're now here as a bigger channel doing video battle reports and yeah, and all the extra additions to it.
Yeah, I think that's quality that you started doing those White Dwarf, because I used to love those White Dwarf battle reports where they have the arrows moving and then you go to the next page and
Exactly.
you're like,
That
oh
was
no,
exactly
the
what we used
dreadnought's
to do.
dead.
I used to wait like every month. I used to go with my dad to collect the White Dwarf. And I remember being so excited as a kid to actually see what battle report would be inside. So
Yeah.
as soon as they stopped, it was an incentive. So basically, Games Workshop stopping doing battle reports in a White Dwarf for a certain amount of time actually made us be what we are now. If not, it wouldn't probably have happened.
That's quality. I love that. Yeah, it's just, when you don't have it in front of you and you're wanting, it's kind of like how I started this. There wasn't really a channel that I knew about that had an interview platform where they just interview people just like yourself, like tabletop legends, and you've done the same thing. Like, there wasn't the White Dwarf battle report, so there you go. Let's just do the one ourselves. Bang! 9 years later, you're running charity events. You're running all
Yeah,
of these like
it's great.
incredible. I'm sure you met so many wonderful people along the way as well.
It's been so good. Like, I've made so many friends that I now call like family. Like, for example, Lawrence from Tabletop Tactics. We now talk nearly weekly. He came over to my wedding. I went to his wedding. We don't only talk about the hobby anymore. We talk about other stuff, and it's just so good. The same with No Retreat. Like, every time I go over to the UK, I normally always meet up with people that I've actually met before, have come over to my events, and it's all very surreal. Like, I I walk onto Warhammer World and there's people just saying my name, and I'm like, I don't know who you are, but they know who I am. And it's actually quite funny that my mum went to UK a couple of weeks ago, and I actually told her to go into the Games Workshop at Tottenham Road.
Yeah.
And I said, Mum, I need this, and I actually sent her a picture. So she went in, and obviously they're always very nice to attend people. And one of the people at the shop went up, approached my mum and said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Yeah, my son, he plays Warhammer. He's got a YouTube channel." And the guys were like, "Oh yeah, what's his YouTube channel?" And my mum said, I think it's called SN." And the guy's like, "Wow, really? I'm a really good fan of him. What shall we call him?" And my mum FaceTimed me to the guy, and the guy was like, "I can't believe I'm on my Pardo's mum's phone talking to you about a model you actually have." So that was really cool experience to actually see.
That's so funny. I love that. That's absolutely amazing. But it just shows you what this hobby can do, because I think it's a fantastic hobby for mental health support. I think it's a fantastic hobby to meet people, like friends. Like I've made so many new friends just through the competitive scene, just from going, either it's to my local hobby store or to a gaming club, or Bad Moon Dark Spoon in London, and then the big events that Zach throws. I've just met so many good people, and
Yeah,
it's such a great hobby. Like I just got married at the end of last year, and we had two tables of Warhammer people.
yeah,
Of just like my local club mates, who, if I didn't play Warhammer, I'd have never met them.
yeah.
Never have met them.
It's so
And it's just fantastic. I've been friends with people for like 4 or 5 years, 6 or 7 years, and it's one of those hobbies that I'm sure you can agree that it's not just you play games, it's not just you paint. There's all the aspects. You just get out your head when you're painting. You get
yes.
frustrated when you're editing. You get you get to just spend quality time with your friends as well, but for hours on
Yeah.
end. It's not just like a quick game of Call of Duty. It's you're spending
Exactly.
quality time. You're having beers. You're having pizza. You're doing whatever you do, and
Yeah.
that's why I mean I love this hobby. I'm sure you do as well for that exact reason.
Yeah, exactly. And you just pointed out as well, for I think it's so important for mental health. I think the game helps us all out. I think when you're actually playing the game, you forget about day-to-day job, your day-to-day life, and you all just concentrated on your toy soldiers. And personally, when I go to events and stuff, I think that the things I enjoy the most isn't the game itself. It's more what happens after. We all go for a drink, we all go for a meal, we all talk about the hobby, and those are the really good experiences I have, and the things that really stay in my head for the years after. It's those little things that happen after events, and obviously the chats you have with people, and it helps a lot of people out. Obviously, if you're not into sports and stuff like that, you always have this to look forward to, and obviously groups of friends because of this game as well. So I think it's a very special hobby.
It is. It is. I appreciate you said that, like, special, because it is. It's very dear to my heart. Hence why I have like this starting up a YouTube channel about it. But it's a very important hobby for me, and it's a very important hobby for a lot of people. And I would just like to say thank you again for running your No Retreat Legends previously, because I'm sure you helped a lot of people out, and I think it's really great that you do what you do as well, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that watch your videos who, or not to say rely on it, but they like to escape. They like to
Yeah.
escape by watching your thematic battle reports and seeing the friendly places that they've been seeing for years. I think it's
Yeah.
great. I think it's really good.
Yeah, it's very important to obviously be a figure for the community itself. I think not I don't only talk about myself, but obviously you'll have your subscribers and your fans, and a lot of other channels will have their subscribers and fans. And a lot of the time we're stressed, it's tiring, late nights of editing and stuff. And obviously none of us or the team are full time, so it's extra stressful. But there is times where we receive emails and messages from people thanking us for for letting them cope in really stressful and depressing times, and they were really grateful and thankful for people like us giving free content, and obviously making them smile at the end of the day in rough days. And those are the messages that we really keeps us doing what we do, and keep going forward as much as possible, because you always know you're helping people out, and it's always great to hear.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. So we have come to the end. We have come to the end of the episode, and I've got to say thank you so much for coming on, because I've really appreciated this chat. It's been really nice getting to know you through Skype. But
We haven't met before.
we haven't met before, no.
Never. I think I've seen you at events before.
I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere,
I
but
think I've seen you
we've
at
never met in person.
I think I've seen you at Warhammer World before. Maybe we didn't talk, but I think I saw you there. Nearly, nearly. We've been close to each other.
Yeah, we've been in the same building,
Yeah.
definitely, but we've never met in real life yet.
Yet.
And yeah, exactly. But I would just like to say thank you so much for coming on. I think this has been a great chat. And for those people who don't know, and I'm sure there are people are watching this for you, where can people find you, and where can they and tell everyone about SM Plus as well?
Okay, so obviously we're a channel that dedicates itself to mostly battle reports. We do Horus Heresy and 40k battle reports. We try and make it a big mix. We go competitive, we go narrative, and in the middle as well, obviously. And yeah, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Our main channel obviously is on YouTube, SM Battle Reports. And then we've got our website where we have our SM Plus, as you've just mentioned, which is basically extra content for those that want to support us at the same time, which by supporting, we mean keep the lights on. Obviously, there's a lot of money that goes into it. We have to pay our rent for our studio, obviously upgrade our armies all the time, basically keep the lights on. And for those people, there's extra content which you can basically go into SN Plus, which is on our website, and now you can also join it on YouTube for easier access. And that just grants you extra shows, extra battle reports, And we also have our website, smbarreports.com, which also caters for our event packs and reviews and stuff.
Yeah, and please go. All the links will be down below, and please go check out Pardo's channel, SM Battle Reports and SM Plus, because you've heard it here. You've heard all the amazing stuff he's been doing with charity events, Horus Heresy events, the no retreat events for 40k, and also the Gibraltar GT. So if you're wanting to get tickets for these events, keep an eye on the Instagrams of SM Battle Reports, and if you want to apply for the no retreat and you think you can make the cut, then you can find all the information on there as well. And yeah, I would just like to say quick shout out to my sponsor for Fourth Dimension Printing. Thank you so much for printing an army of mine, which I will be having on this channel. He has literally printed 2,000 points of demons for me. So it's we've got Be'lakor right here, and you would not know the difference. And he's just starting out his company, and he's doing an amazing job. He's got like 6 printers already, so he can do all your printing needs. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and go to if you haven't checked out Pardo's channel, go, the links below. Like and subscribe, and thank you again, Pardo, for coming on.
No problem.
And, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.